What's up, YouTube? This is Tyler. Just going to do a quick update from those that saw my last video explaining the moon test that we did, where we had Sweden, Australia, and USA showing the moon at the same time that night. The next day was just right after I made that video, actually. There was somebody from South Africa that also snapped the moon while we were doing the live stream, and the person was trying to send it to me, but apparently I didn't get it, or whatever the case was, but I got it shortly after I did that video. So we had USA, Australia, Sweden, and South Africa all seeing the moon at the same time. So oops, because that don't work on a ball. You might get two, but you can't get USA and Australia, and you certainly can't get those four seeing it at the same time on the ball model, because one or two of the people has to be staring through Earth to be able to do that. So so just an update, man. So I don't know if you guys remember, so I help moderate it's the largest group on Facebook, discussion group for flat and globe, and I've been doing that for almost a year. And when I first got into it was pretty gnarly. It was still a lot of arguing, fighting, all this and that. Just a almost full-time job, trying to just put the truth out there, and then you have to explain it, and then you have to explain all these other little things that kind of go along with it, and just nauseating, really. And that's really tapered down quite a bit. In fact, anyone comes in there with any kind of what they think is proof for a globe, everyone's got the videos and the footage and the pictures and the documents and everything to counter any type of evidence that comes over about the globe model. It's really, just at this point, it's ridiculous. So I went on today to go to try to find some really hard questions that the globers might have, and I was gonna make a little list so I could just kind of read a question and then explain it. And there's really there's only a couple that I could come up with, because there's no more proof. There's no more proof for the globe. So I know that some people get distracted on some of these side channels. Simon Dan's a big one right now, and he is super toxic, and full of complete disinfo. I mean, he looks like he might be in the whatever, debunking flat earth here and there, but the fact is, this guy's only been on the scene for like 4 months, and amazingly, he has just learned the nuts and bolts of both sides in such a quick time. He's got a giant audience. I'll put the picture here. Uh, 43,000 people overnight for his channel. And then YouTube funnels him for anything flat earth. He always pops up recommended first. So anyway, just so you know, I even get triggered when I listen to him, like, oh my god, like flat earthers are like, he's making us out to say like, holy shit, like really whacked and stuff. I'll just point out one quick example. So the last video he did was over death. Okay, the explorer that supposedly went to Antarctica that died on his journey, and shame on flat earthers for believing that Antarctica doesn't exist. Well, it's proven it doesn't exist. There's never been a flight recorded that goes over it. So that's out of the way, and then he also shamed on us for exposing the Challenger disaster hoax, where supposedly all the astronauts had twin siblings, or whatever you want to call it. Fact number one, none of these siblings were at the funeral services, so that puts that out of the way. And he really, really did a good job. It made my heart sink for a second, because it's like, yeah, what if they really did die? What if we're wrong? Well, take it one step further, the way we have to think now is that if the Challenger launch was in fact true, where were they sending them? Because it was in outer space, and it's proven that all their rocket launches go into the Bermuda Triangle. So whether they died or not is really pointless. Where were they sending these astronauts, supposed astronauts? Because they weren't going into space, so why, even if they did die, why would they shoot them up in the air and explode them? Like, you know what I mean? You just when you listen to Simon, just go one step ahead of what he says, and it's pretty comical, really. And he fits the profile of just sitting in a cubicle, whatever. But I don't think he does any of his research. I think he's reading scripts, and just somebody puts all that together and they turn it into a show. Because to be able to take all of the flat Earth information and then compare it and regurgitate it to support the globe it's literally impossible. Like, you can't even just do it in a year. There's just no way. So anyway, so one of the questions today was, can any of you flat earthers explain how the direction south works for you? If north is the middle of the map, where is south? I mean, it can't be everywhere around, can it? So that was one of the questions that come up, and basically south is just opposite of north. That's how you know where south is, and north is the North Pole, where Polaris is, and opposite of the center is south. So opposite north is south wherever you are. The flat earth map shows that. It's pretty simple. The 24-hour sun in Alaska, how does that work on flat earth? Well, it only works on flat earth. That was one of the other questions. And so people will say, okay, this was the other one. So anti-crepuscular rays prove that light doesn't come from the sun. She says something else that's just made up. Don't fall for it. That's why there's 24-hour sunlight in Antarctica sometimes. No, there's no 24-hour sunlight in Antarctica. There's been plenty of videos that have been put up that try to prove it. If you just pay attention to the slice and dice of the videos, it's never been recorded without the slice and dice. Somebody could simply record it and time lapse it. It's never been done. I think they said that at most is 18 hours. So nobody's ever proven it past that. So anyway, 24-hour Antarctic sun is just bogus. And then they'll say, well, what was the question? 24-hour 24-hour sunlight in Antarctica is possible because of the tilt of Earth. Okay, they say the Earth tilts 23.4 degrees, gives it the wobble. So that's how you can have 24-hour sun in Alaska and Antarctica. So obviously that's flawed, but then we also look at what would be the reason, and that would be because the Earth tilts, and the official NASA says that Earth tilts at 23.4 degrees. Go ahead and minus 2, 3, 4, minus 100, and there you get your 666. Just like everything else, okay? And the sun, or the Earth, travels around the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. You get your 666s everywhere. It's pretty ridiculous. And Russia's investigating the moon landing. That's another big topic. My prediction is that Russia's going to come out and say that it was valid because they were part of the Antarctic Treaty. So just be prepared for that. If I'm wrong, cool. If they come out and say that, then it's just more stuff to argue over. I don't know. And whatever. But yeah, I don't know how much more arguing we can get. We're kind of at the point where I was looking at it in the sense of a car, like a Mercedes. For some reason, Mercedes, the vehicle Mercedes come to mind. But let's just say like this is the Globers, okay? So Glover goes and buys a Mercedes. Paperwork says it's a Mercedes, looks like a Mercedes, drives like one, everything's cool. And the Glober's like, he goes and shows it to his flat earth buddy and says, hey dude, check out my new car. Like, I just got this for a really killer deal. It's this new Mercedes. And he's like, no man, I don't think this is a real Mercedes. He's like, no, it is, man. I got the paperwork to prove it. And so the flat earther's like, well, no, everything on here pretty much looks fake. And so the Glober starts and goes, well, what about the tires? Tires, they're fake. They're not actual for Mercedes. What about the gas lid? What about the brake lights? What about the license plate cover? No, man. So those are all fake too. What about the hood? What about the windshield? What about the steering wheel? Dice, every goddamn piece of this car has to be proven that it's fake before he might just kind of get it. But in the meantime, what about these wires? What about, all the little nitpicking about how all this stuff, and the flat earther just goes, look, dude, the whole Mercedes is fake. The whole thing. Like, quit asking questions. The whole thing is fake. All of it. And anyway, so that just comes into the Glober's butthurt. The flat earther's correct, but they both have one thing that's a problem, and that is the fact that even the Mercedes is an illusion. Okay, I just want people to understand that the globe model is an illusion, and the flat Earth model is also it removes the lies from the ball model, but the flat Earth model it's corralling people into a label, labeling people as flat earthers. Okay, it's kind of like Republican, Democrat, Republican flat earther, Glober Democrat type thing. It's a stigma, and pretty soon the media is going to do. As soon as this gets big enough, in fact, I think we're pretty close. But as soon as this gets big enough, in my opinion, the media is going to twist this into, they're going to attempt to turn it into a mental illness, believe it or not. That's my prediction. So if they come out and say, well, flat earthers are described, even if they do a mass shooting, and all of a sudden they label the shooter as a flat earth believer, then to the majority of the people are going to go, oh my God, flat earth, they're dangerous people now. Now they're shooting up all this stuff, and all the people out doing the flat smack and stuff. I mean, I don't agree with that, but that's basically public harassment in people's eyes. So the media right now, the way flat earth is going, because it's getting so big, the media could have a heyday with this, and that's the really scary part. And I just want, I know I've only got a couple hundred subscribers, but if I'm just putting this out here for maybe a good 10 or 20 people to understand and help pass the word on, they've always been talking about it being a psyop. That's why I put myself right in the face of the dragon with this whole thing, just to really kind of feel it out and see where they possibly going to be doing with this. And that is my gut feeling. If you go to Patricia Steele's her YouTube channel where she interviews people on her supposed flat earth channel, this one is super weird, because everybody she gets on her show, they act like and they look like there's something wrong, like really, really wrong with them. And so it's like, these are what flat earthers look like, and they all look crazy. And that just might get twisted some way. So anyway, step away from labeling yourself as a flat earther, even though it's it's truth and whatever. And by God, one of the biggest mistakes right now with people, when they discover, all of a sudden they figure all this out, and they run to their friends and family and go, hey, guess what I just figured out, man, like Earth's flat, man. And the most toxic thing, if these friends and family just kind of are even questioning a little bit, might be off with you, you're in for a rough ride, because you have just compounded that doubt into you being like a sane person, and you've just compounded it by 1,000. that is literally irreversible until they go and figure it out themselves, but you've probably already gave them enough reason to not look into it. Okay, keep that in mind. Learn about it, adjust your mentality, change your diet, make sure you're eating clean, filtered water, all that good stuff. Like make a change in yourself, maybe your appearance or something, but they, get them to the point where be nice and loving to them and stuff, and just have them go, man, you're acting really cool. Like, you don't act all stressed out like you did before. Like, what's changed? Like, wow, it's really weird, man. Like I just kind of started looking into some stuff, and I can't figure out. I'm trying to figure out the moon landing. I don't think we ever went there, but I don't know. There's a lot of just kind of make it easy. Don't just drop the flat Earth bomb on them, because a lot of people are doing that, and they're wondering why. They're just like, man, my family hates me, and my friends won't talk to me, and my boyfriend just left me, and you see that stuff all the time. So really mentally prepare yourself if you're going to drop that inside your close circle of family, friends, whatever. It's really crazy to watch, because a lot of people will get to a certain point, and then a family member is going to go, what about this? And then they're not going to be able to wait, am I live? I'm not live, am I? Huh, okay. This is my cell phone. I don't know. Somebody's listening with me. Huh. I hope I'm not live. Anyway, so I'm really tripped out now. Angela is listening. Oh my gosh, I'm already at 17 minutes. Okay, so anyway, last thing I'm going to do, and I know I bring in a couple trolls on my channel when I do these new videos, and the sunset thing, man, I every time I put that up, it gets a lot of thumbs down, and I don't understand why they can't understand that the sun moves away. There's no curve for it to set behind. Okay, it moves away, and we can argue about the distance all day long, but it's not a physical object, so it can't be measured. So there's that. But the problem with the sun, people think because the sun goes down that it's going over something, and it's not how it works. Atmospheric refraction pulls the sun down on a parallel surface. This is what my video proves. So anyway, I don't know how else more to beat that. And trolls, if you wanna start popping off with any kind of crazy comments, I'll just screenshot your comment, and then I'll just make a video on it, like I did from the guy that didn't believe me I was on the overpass in Wendover. That was pretty funny. And the big one, well, another big one is as far as gravity goes, just so you know, if you all want to research terminal velocity disproves that gravity even exists. So anyway, I guess I'm going to go ahead and end this. My phone's acting weird. But anyway, I just want to give you an update and just leave it right there. Peace.